Hey y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope and welcome. I think I'm about to work on my week 22 mixed media prompt project for hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. If you are new here, all that is every Monday I draw 3 prompts and alter a playing card using those 3 prompts. And then later in the week, I make another project using those same 3 prompts. You are welcome to play along using my prompts, or you can use the list of 156 prompts that I have below. Either way, I just want you to go and get inspired. And if you do participate, just use that hashtag CraftyHope prompts and tag me at CraftyHope wherever. Now, I should be announcing the winner of my giveaway, and I'm going to include that here. Okay, y'all, it's time to draw. So I have put all the names on little slips of paper in here, and we are going to pull it out and see who wins. So I'm going to grab this one, and it is Toyota B. I'm trying to do there. All right, Toyota, if you will contact me, I will, I'm going to put a reply in the video where you entered. I'll reply to you and ask you to email me, so you'll get that notification. My email is craftyhope@gmail.com. If you'll give me a shout, and we can get your tag to you. All right, guys, thank you all for everyone who participated in that, and congratulations, Toyota. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the project for this week. Congratulations to the winner. But let's get to this week's project. So our 3 prompts this week are work upside down, embossing powder, and scrapbook or patterned paper. So basically I'm going to do an experiment. I have to say that all of these projects pretty much are experiments. They are ways for me to use the materials that I have and play rather than keeping them stored up. It gives me an excuse to use them. And that's all I really wanted with this project, was to break out and, you know, work with them in different combinations. So the work upside down, y'all, it keeps baffling me. So what I think I'm going to do is alter this little box. It's something from the Dollar Tree. I bought a bunch of them, and it's basically a little shadow box. I don't know how you would use it otherwise, as is just an empty box. So maybe, I don't know. I think things belong in it. So we're going to put something in this. So I'm going to try to work on it this way, possibly. We're going to see. The work upside down, y'all, it's going to be what it is. Embossing powder. I decided I think I am going to use some of the iced enamels. This is the raspberry one, which I think I have 2 containers of this. I know I have at least one. I might have another one somewhere, but it's not one I use very often because I don't do pink. And then, well, I'm using the pink because I think this is going to be my focal, is this little die cut butterfly, also from the Dollar Tree. But those colors, I think, go fairly well together. So that's my butterfly. I'm going to put it off to the side. And then scrapbook or pattern paper. Okay, y'all, one of the things I have in my stash that I never touch is this pack of Tim Holtz papers. I love them. But they're too precious, and I've got to break out of that rut. So I believe I'm going to use these, and there was a single piece of paper in there that I had apparently worked with at one point, and it seems perfect to just back up this butterfly. So I do have a backup if I can't get it cut the way I wanted, and we'll use this one with like, looks like dictionary paper on it maybe. So I think I'm going to use this one though, and this should be just enough here to do it. So that is my plan. Yeah, so I'm going to get started, I think, first with the embossing. Yeah, let's do this. So I'm starting with this tinted embossing ink. It was in that box of embossing powders and other things that I was gifted. And I'm just using a paintbrush and going along that front edge of this little house box thing. I don't like the front edge on this. It seems very unfinished. The MDF or whatever is rough on it. And I thought this would be the best way to tackle covering that up. So I'm using my folder that I like to use, I just a folder. I like to use folders when I emboss. And you can see, put that little bit of that ink on there, sprinkle the iced enamels over, which is an embossing powder. And then I will clean this up, yeah, that's why I have the folder, is that grease to clean up. And then I'm going to grab my heat gun and melt that embossing powder so that it becomes a slicker surface. So this takes a minute. I'm going to let y'all see a bit of this. I'm not going to make y'all watch me emboss this entire front of this house, but I am going to tell you that I do 2 layers over all of this. So yeah, this whole thing that I'm about to do over the whole house gets 2 layers of embossing powder, basically because the first layers kind of were soaking in to that MDF. So I felt like a second layer let it kind of have some of that shininess that it needed. So now I've got that scrapbook paper. I'm using the back so I can use my pencil to trace around my box. Now obviously this is not the shape that will fit in this box because it has that lip around it, so I'm going to account for that. And y'all, this is so non-exact. I'm going to clean up some embossing stuff I forgot, which I apparently get everywhere. Awesome. So yeah, so I'm going to, just using my scissors, go in a little bit as I cut this around the shape that I've traced, giving myself a little bit of leeway and staying inside that shape. And not like and I lined it up across the bottom there, but so I'm going to go ahead and go up just a little bit across the bottom. And I will see if it fits. And of course it's not going to fit. There's no way I cut that properly. So I'm just kind of giving it a look about how much I need to cut off of the whole thing. And I will continue to trim it. What am I doing here? I don't know. All right, trying to decide exactly what needed to be trimmed. So yeah, I'm going to trim it. And y'all, I can't cut a straight line to save my life, so I don't know why I tried to freehand this, but it's okay. I knew I could. I'm going to do some things to fix my lack of ability to do this right. So I am able to get it in there. It's not great. I know I can't get my finger in there, so I grab a piece of wire that's sitting on my desk to help me pry that out of there. And I'm going to trim, a little bit more here and a little bit more there. And it ends up, once I can finally get this in here, you can see here on the sides, you can see that background where I have trimmed the sides too much. And that's okay, because I can do whatever I want on that background before I put down this paper. So what I've decided to do is, now look, I'm turning it upside down, is I grab my black gesso and a fairly thin, like rectangular paintbrush, flat brush, and I'm going to go around just the edges there. And I do a fairly good job of keeping it off that inner side, for now. Yeah, y'all, I rushed letting it dry and doing some things, and it ends up messing it up. But I fix it, Little mistakes you make are opportunities to learn and to find new ways to do things. So y'all are going to get some of my head in here as I was trying to look over that edge, because I didn't want to turn it. I wanted to work upside down. So I am going to turn it a little here. And I'm trying to take my time and be careful and not be sloppy. But, if I could cut better and straight, that'd be fine. But I have to admit that this is part of my art, and part of the way I create is to kind of go with my gut and then figure it out once, if something's not exactly how I want it, how am I going to make it the way I want it? How do I fix it? Do I start over? Do I do something else? And in this case, I cut that paper that I wanted too small. So I'm going to put just a little bit of black gesso around those edges that are showing. I suppose I could paint that whole box, but what's the point? I'm just going to stick some stuff in here. So again, sorry for the head. I'm finally turning that so I can see. I could see little spots of white in there, so I'm trying to go back in and cover those up real quick. So, yeah, this is probably too meticulous for what y'all need from me today. So, this was a super easy project. I didn't use a lot of materials. It comes together fairly easy. So here where I had pressed that paper into, I had some areas where the paper had rolled up because it was too long. So I'm just trimming off those too long edges, knowing that if I cut it too short, that's okay. I've gessoed all those edges. So I've got my Distress ink and walnut stain and my little dauber thing, and I'm going to go around all the edges just so that this paper kind of bleeds from that black into kind of the dark brown and then into the actual pattern of it. So I'm enjoying this. This also, when you cut paper, a lot of times you get like the white edge around there, and this takes that away, so it feels a little more finished. I am inking all of the things nowadays, so yeah, it's now that I've rediscovered I have this tool. So I did grab my little butterfly and decide to elevate it a little bit and ink it as well, because it also has those super white edges where it was, I don't know how they cut the die cuts by machine or whatever. So, and the surface of this butterfly is kind of thick, so I'm trying not to get a whole lot of that ink on the front of it because I know it'll smear. And I don't want that. I'm trying to, but this step doesn't even really show up a whole lot. It's just one of those things that made it feel a touch more finished to me. And so that's the plan there. So now to get that, so turning it back upside down again. Now to get that scrapbook paper in that box, you could see that some of that gesso was still wet, so I kind of stepped away from it for a minute, but it's not going to be long enough. And I was trying to figure out what kind of glue I wanted to use. I've got all of these adhesives, y'all, and this was some kind of pen thing I think I picked up at the and I tore that. That's got a little nozzle tip that you just have to twist, and I just tore it right off. So this has two sides. I haven't seen any of these since I bought this one, but if I see it again, I may buy it again because it's neat that it's got the broad side on one end and that tip on the other. So I use that so I could, get my glue spread around. But here's where things go wonky, as I decide to wipe off the excess glue with this towel, and some of the gesso somehow seeped through and smeared on the inside wall of the roof in there. So I think I'll lean it. You can kind of see it up there. Yeah, super not happy with that, but I'm gonna fix it. We're gonna come through. So I'm turning it back upside down, trying to do my upside down work, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my scraper tool to make sure that there's no air bubbles in this and that it lays nice and flat and it squeezes some of that excess glue out. So I did leave that to sit for a little bit, and I'm looking at it, trying to decide what else. And I knew that that butterfly needed to be elevated, but before I did that, I'm going to grab my handy dandy. I had just done another project, I think, that had some of that gold. Actually, it was yesterday's Seek, Gather, Create for the week 4 project that I did. I'll put a link to that for you. But I'm going to take that gold acrylic ink that I love and just splatter it on the inside. Since there is some gold on that butterfly, I thought that might help carry that kind of theme across from the background to the butterfly. That butterfly's not going to blend into the background. So I let all of that dry, and that's where I'm coming in with that is a Sharpie water-based paint pen that I am going around both the wall and the paper on the inside, and then quickly grabbing a wet paintbrush and just trying to blend it a little bit. And it worked pretty well. I'm going to do a couple little touch-ups where that paint pen skipped, but for the most part this solution worked great. I'm really happy with it. And since that gold ink is acrylic, it doesn't move. It's fine. It actually, once this whatever the paint pen stuff dries, it pops back through. So all right, we're coming to the end of this, y'all. I have got some foam mounting tape. This is, I believe, from just the dollar store. And I'm putting it down on the back of my butterfly because I do want to elevate it just a little bit so it has its own natural shadow. And so, I'm sticking that down, and then I will peel the backs off and working upside down. This was probably the hardest part of the working upside down. I will place that butterfly. And once that's in, that is it for this project. Like I said, it's super easy. You know, I really just had a box and some embossing powder and a butterfly and some paper and a couple little extra elements and turned this couple Dollar Tree things into something really beautiful. So I hope you like this. If you did, I hope you will give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and come back later and see what's going on. On Monday, I will be announcing week 23's prompts. Ooh. All right, guys. I will see y'all then. Thanks for watching. Bye.